Hey, and you all want me to say the same thing that I keep saying, but I'll say it. Hey, who'd you talk to? What's going on? It is me. It's Mike Lepre, King Michael. This is the world of legit fantasy wrestling. The Wolf. How are we doing tonight? It's a Wednesday, November 17th. It's 2021. It is now 7:06. We're about a minute late, which is not bad for us. Joining me as always, Joey Paranormal. What's up, Joe?
Who? You had me scared. I thought you weren't gonna do it. Thought you weren't gonna ask me who I was talking to and what do I know. I didn't think I could do the show. If you didn't, I probably would have just left.
See, and you don't even know the history behind that thing. The history behind that is that's something that the guys in the band used to make fun of me of, because I would honest to God say to people, "Hey, who you talk to? What's going on?" That was like, to me, that was my quickest way of breaking down, like, what's going on, what's the deal, tell me what I need to know. Hey, who'd you talk to? What's going on? So they did a Christmas song about me, making fun of me. I won't even tell you what the name of it is, because if I ever tell you what the name of it is, they'd get in trouble by so many different groups of the names they called me. But they did a part where Dave was singing in a falsetto voice, who'd you talk to? What's going on? And it was bam, bam, bam. So I think it was that whatchamacallit orchestra, that Christmas orchestra. They do like the heavy,
TSO, Trans-Siberian.
No, yeah, no? Something like that. Yeah, so they were singing along to that, basically doing a video on the making of the song. They actually filmed the making of the song. So that's something that made fun of me there. So I figured I would, way back about more than a year ago, I'm like, I need an intro, something like I can say that every time when I come in. And I was laughing at myself thinking, I'm going to say what they made fun of me about and just keep saying it, because eventually people will want to hear me say it. And it's true, because even like Buddy's like, yeah, you got to say it. You can't not say it. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I was thinking maybe I'd say something different for this show. He's like, no, you good. You got to say who'd you talk to, what's going on. So Joe, I got my own, like, it's not as good as like a Chachi catchphrase. His was whoa. His was whoa. Actually, you don't remember this, but Chachi said whoa like Joey Laurence. We'll check on that later. Yeah. Joey Laurence said whoa, but Chachi the character also had a whoa. He had like his own, when he saw like a girl, whatever, we'll figure it out. Joe, wrestling has been scary. I'm wondering what the WWE is doing. I'm now become at a loss for words with them. Like, what's all right? Let's start with this. Before we do AEW or Raw, let's just do Tribute to the Troops happened, right? Really quick. That was really nothing. Big E beat Dolph Ziggler. Bianca Belair beat Liv Morgan, but then Liv Morgan showed her respect. So, and then Roman Reigns beat Shinsuke. So pretty much it was the beginning to show you how good the New Day were, so they can get you ready for the show. And in the middle, they had Bianca Belair look good and go strong over Liv Morgan, who they're going to start pushing soon, and they had to show respect, so she's going to be a good guy. And then Roman Reigns and the family, or whatever they're called, got to stand tall in front of everybody at the end. So it's like, it was like a commercial. That show was a commercial. I feel bad that the Troops got that. Like, I feel like the Troops were used to be set up for like a commercial to get people to tune in for the pay-per-view. What do you think?
That sounds about right. They used to do some spectacular shows for the Troops too. I remember they did one on a naval vessel. They went straight into the heart of there are wrestlers who are going to be more badass and gone into combat zones than I ever will, and I'm actually serving. They used to go right into the heart of Afghanistan, put on some crazy shows right on bases, like no F's given. They did fantastic shows. I mean, you remember Kane arm wrestled I think a general or like a colonel, like middle of the ring, arm wrestled the guy, and then Chris Jericho came out and kicked the living crap out of him. And like, that was the kind of stuff that they did at the Tribute to the Troops. They would involve troops. They would go to, granted, again, we're not really in any major conflicts where there's a large military presence. Everyone's kind of scattered right now, but it sucks that they just kind of like, yeah, it's Tribute to the Troops. It's Veterans Day. Here's a little thing we put together for you. Like, oh, you have fun. You got to see Roman Reigns. Ooh, you mean Roman Reigns. You got to see him.
They could have done this year, like a tribute to Antifa, and then just went to pick a riot and just go at any riot, I guess. It could be tribute to anybody. Put name and insert name here. Just go to their riot. and just because that's how bad they are. That's how badly they need freaking attention. How bad that the troops on at war. So it almost seems like they didn't seem to care about them last night or the other night. And I'm being honest, that's how it comes down. So it's like go find a war then. It's like, all right, now let's go over to AEW really quick. You said at the beginning of this show before we started, I don't think probably show 1, that Hangman Page deserves to win the title over there in AEW, and then you said that it's going to happen. I think I told you it wasn't. I think, or I just kind of didn't think it would be true because I didn't think he's that big a deal. But I'll let you take it from there.
It's time for some cowboy shit, my friend. So I've read a lot of articles about this too, and this what AEW did with this program was they've been around for like 2 years. This was a program that they've been running since this shit started. Like he came into this company. He was the first challenger to the title next to Chris Jericho, and then kept getting pushed back. He had to watch Jericho run with the title. He had to watch Moxley run with the title. Just walk over from WWE and win with the title. The Young Bucks were champions. Miro got a championship. Sammy Guevara got a championship. Some of these guys that had been there since day one all got championships. He had some personal stuff he took care of. He left for a little bit. He came back. He's been a badass. He's a phenomenal wrestler. He's a guy that was just waiting to get his opportunity. And it seemed like it was never gonna happen. And then to have him go up against Kenny Omega, who I've said before is probably one of the best wrestlers on the planet right now. There's a handful. There's like a small knit group. There's probably 3 you could say right now are the best wrestlers in wrestling. And I'm not super familiar with New Japan, but I know that there's a couple guys over there that would fall into the category too. So you're putting Hangman up against arguably one of the best wrestlers on the planet right now. And to have him go over, and on top of that, to have the Young Bucks come out who are in a stable with Kenny Omega, and instead of interfering, they just kind of just look and just let the match finish. AEW didn't do that half-assed WWE booking where they're like, we want to keep everybody looking strong. You know what? We want Hangman to look strong, but we want Omega to retain. So here come the Young Bucks came out and they swerved everybody and let that match finish. It's a huge little kind of coronation in the ring, and it was I'm actually getting chills talking about it because it's one of those moments in wrestling where it's something you wanted so bad for so long. If you were a fan of this guy or know who he was or kind of watch him, and I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I'm a diehard Adam Page fan, but I liked him a lot. I liked his character. I like the work that he's done. I think he's a guy that deserved it, especially when it comes to AEW, a fledgling company. Guy's been there and he's put on a hell of a show every night that he's gone out. So it's just great to see a company who did such a slow burn on a program like that, where this guy had to just watch all these people that he came up with win titles and succeed, and he kept getting told it wasn't his time and he couldn't do it and it was never going to happen. Now he's on top of the company where he should have been 2 years ago when he wrestled Jericho for the inaugural championship. And
here's the thing. Actually, 3 things. One, I've got actually a wrestling match going on behind the computer. It's a 100 and some odd pound Mastiff Lab going against I'm going to say about a 55 pound pit bull. And right now the pit bull is smacking him up. Like
really?
She's knocking him all over the place. She looks like she's trying to mount him, which doesn't make sense because she's the girl. She's mounting him. She's the girl and he's the guy. It's a sad, sad day for my male dog right now. He's getting brutalized. Things that happen to him don't usually happen in a Turkish prison. Let's move on. Let's move on. So I was for Adam Page getting this. What I liked was how many times will a company come back to a guy that's hurt? Usually when you come back from being injured, they don't trust you for a while because
Finn Balor?
Which should be right. I mean, and to be completely honest, if I own a sports team and somebody comes right back from injury, you don't trust them at first as much because you worry they're still injured deep down. You know what I mean? That's just kind of like how it is. But they had faith in him. He came back. They worked with him. They stood the course and they made him the champ. And like you said, it worked at a perfect time too because what's his face? Kenny Omega is all banged up, so Kenny Omega is going to get some time to somewhat heal. And now you got a face for your champ there. And now with all these great bad guys that are there, we can name a ton. What is it? MJF?
Oh my God, his match with Darby.
Amazing.
Oh man.
I mean, they did. My only problem is they did everybody's finisher, which it takes away a little bit of luster when you do that, because I want to fake believe that only certain guys can do certain moves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I don't want to know in my head that everybody can do that move, because that doesn't make it as cool when this guy does it. Like, I want that to be his move. They used to protect moves big time. So to let
Like
two
the
young
stunner.
guys go out there and just bang everybody's out like that, there's the old school in me was like, all right, ease up. All right, ease up. Whoa. And the other side of me was like, oh, it's a great match. It's a great match. You know what I mean? But like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
It's older wrestlers don't appreciate it very much, I don't think. So you're kind of doing we don't care, what you think kind of match. Still, it was a great match, right?
Oh,
So
my
that whole thing is looking good. I love the fact that Christian, my favorite wrestler, is still just banging away in there.
Yep.
I mean, he doesn't get any. He's probably the most underrated wrestler we've had. He just doesn't ever. He just keeps going to place. But then when he comes back to the WWE, they treat him like he's nothing. It's ridiculous.
For every Jeff Hardy, there's a Matt Hardy. And for every Edge, there's a Christian. The only tag team that really never saw it was the Dudleys, because they were just.
They kind of did though at the end. But Bubba Ray was champ at TNA for a long time.
Yeah.
Evon did nothing.
Yeah, he got his. That's true. But I mean, there's always that one guy, and Matt Hardy's had great success outside of WWE. I mean, he was TNA champion. Granted, with AEW, hasn't done much, and he probably won't because of his age. But yeah, man, I've always been a bigger fan of Christian. I'll tell you, I think I've said this before, but he had one of my more favorite entrance musics of all time. I think it was called like Close Your Eyes, and Story of the Year did it. And man, it's just fantastic. It hits the little emo high schooler kid in me. So that's where my affinity for Christian came from. So it's nice to see him still messing around. And that match with Super Click that he was in with Jurassic Express, it was a good match. I mean, this whole card was just phenomenal.
Did you don't remember Christian's first though, where it went Christian Splash, you're on your own.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, that was a good one too. But then my favorite thing about him was he was at home and he was trying out names for his character when he came back from being injured, and he told his wife, "What do you think about Captain Charisma?" And she's like, "I hate that." Like, she hated it, and she hated it so much that he was like, "Ooh, this works." Like if you can get someone to hate something that much, so he used it. He came back, and for a while he would look for his peeps. That Captain Charisma, that name alone kills me. I die laughing every time I say it out loud. Like that's a great. It's such a great name. It's such a great name to call yourself if you really want people to be mad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's such an art to that, dude. There really is. You're probably not very good at it. I don't think you probably want people to kind of like you. You're just that kind of person. You're affable, right? You want people to like you. You like them. That's how you live, right?
Yeah,
that's kind of,
I guess.
Yeah. Whereas me, sometimes I like to press buttons, and I like to see sometimes. Let's see what this person thinks. You know, just because I like to test people. I don't know. It's the jerky side of me, I guess we'd say. But let's go to Raw. I want to go to Raw. I want to break down Raw because sorry. So let me explain something to you. First of all, it starts off with Big E and Kevin Owens to kick it off, right? First of all, Big E's kicking off Raw. Is Big E on Raw now? Is it his show or is it Roman? Joe, help me. Whose show is Raw? Is it Big E's?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Big E kicks off Raw.
Roman's belt is blue. That means he's on SmackDown.
But wasn't Big E just on SmackDown and vice versa?
It's Survivor Series. Man, it's Survivor Series. So now the Bloodline was on the show. So like it's just like the Saudi shows now. Like the brand split happened, but because it's the Survivor Series run up, it doesn't matter, I guess.
I can't keep up.
I don't know.
All right. So he comes out, and then Kevin Owens. Now, Kevin Owens, he pretty much was told you're a bad guy, and then he said, "All right, I'm a bad guy." Is that what we're led to believe about the character?
I guess that he's supposed to be a heel now. I mean, maybe he's going for that, like, I'm a badass heel. It's it's really tough to say where they're going with Kevin Owens' character because he's always been that board. I mean, the only time he's really ever been a true heel was when he was working with Jericho and he was the Universal Champion. This is the only time that he's ever been that like full on heel. Any other time, he's either been a very fringe heel, kind of like an anti-hero, or he's been a face. And you're still kind of seeing that because if he goes up against Big E, he has to be a heel. But he's also feuding with Seth Rollins, who's a heel. So it's kind of like Big E's the face, Seth Rollins is the heel, and Kevin Owens is kind of that fringe heel who Seth Rollins is trying to kind of pull to his side. Like, no, you're an asshole. Like, remember, you're an asshole. You're going to attack people because that's who you are. But he still kind of wants to be like, oh, Big E, no, really, like, we're against Seth. But
Look,
he's leaning more towards being an asshole.
here's what he's leaning more towards. Get another wrestling outfit. Jesus, Christopher. You see what he's wearing now? The whole red, white, black matching crap.
With the
like,
cut, with the super low cutout.
My point is, no offense to that dude, right? No offense. But when you're not in the greatest of wrestling shape, like you're not ripped, you're not Diesel, when you got a bit of a gut like he does, don't go wearing a matching outfit like that. It just makes you look bigger. It makes you look rounder. That it does him no justice, that outfit. That outfit does him no justice. You want to know about another outfit? I used to say this all the time with Dave, Gentleman Dave. Think about the Hart Foundation, right? That outfit on Bret Hart made Bret Hart look badass for some reason with the black hair, the fact that he was like, you know what I mean, in shape, whatever. It didn't do Neidhart any justice.
No.
Because he was big and it was pink and he's got the beard. It just didn't seem right on him. Just like this is right on Kevin Owens. You don't give him something matching like that. You give him a pair of pants with a cool t-shirt that's got like a dope saying or whatnot. Let him roll with that. But you don't put him in this onesie that makes him look like a piece of candy. Did you see him? He looks like a piece of candy. It's ridiculous. Yeah. He looks ridiculous. All right. So then that happens. We have the whole thing. Jeez Christ. They get involved. The Usos got involved. Riddle came down to help Big E.
And then, it just became a convoluted mess. Because, I mean, you had, who came? Riddle came down. The Usos were out there. Rollins just was sitting there. The Usos were kicking Riddle's ass. Randy Orton showed up. And like any typical WWE programming, it just it almost basically becomes a 6-man tag, or it does become a 6-man tag. Like, I don't know. It's a very predictable and dumb thing for WWE to do, because they're like, oh no, we have our pay-per-view coming up. Let's just mush all these storylines together, because they still either don't get it or they don't care. They're not subtle with their booking. They're like, bah, here's everything right in your face. And most of the time it doesn't hit home. And this is another one. I mean, we don't need to see all 6 of those guys in the ring at the same time. There's no need. Like, if you wanted to make more sense, put, I don't know, Seth and KO in a tag team match. Just start it off like that with the Bloodline or with RK Bro or something. Then have I don't know. Just don't start with a typical promo.
Let me ask you this. Why can't they just get into a rotation of wrestlers? Like, in other words, like, you wrestle 3 out of every 4 Raws. And then you're just to the side for one show to fit in for somebody else, to allow for different. Now you can space out like matches, what are we looking for? Confrontations. What do you want to call them? But you can make more of them. You could book more of them if you stagger the schedule. Like, you don't wrestle 4 Raws in a row just for storyline reasons, so that we can write about someone else. But they feel like they have to have everybody there every week to keep them hot. Like, if they, God forbid, they miss 1 week, people will stop talking about them. And it's not like that, dude. You can skip a week, and you should be skipping weeks. That way you can rotate more people in. But then what do? You tuna fish these guys into one match just so they fit. Just so they fit, right? It's ridiculous. And it's like, yeah, all right. You got them all out there. You got all your stars out there. But for what kind of a match? Like, the match you're putting on isn't very good. No one wants to see that crap. They go over to AEW. The guys are killing themselves. And then you put on a match like this where it's kind of like you got a bunch of stars, but you don't want them to get hurt, so you make them do dumb moves. It struck me wrong. And before we continue on Raw, I got to say this. I sat down last night, right? I was watching John Wick 3, I'm a John Wick maniac.
Damn
So
good movies.
it ends and NXT comes on. I'm sitting there. Now, first off, the symbol, the logo, NXT 2.0 with all the colors made me want to vomit. It made me want to throw up. I swear to you, I wanted it. I wanted to make myself throw up by like punching myself in the gut, or maybe the nuggets, whatever it took to throw up. That's how upset I was, Joe. That show was so cringy, awful. The whole Johnny Gargano with the kid I like, Pete Dunne, and the what's his name, Carmelo, and whoever the other guy, his friend. It was they were bad on the mic. It was a cringy atmosphere. It's like a high school gym. The colors are so too much. They got a roster of guys that they're gonna have to get rid of because they don't fit what they're trying to do with that NXT. Pete Dunne, Johnny Gargano, these guys don't fit what he wants in this NXT. Loomis came out. I'm like, oh, all right, Loomis looks good, right? He looked good, I guess. But the guy he fought was using the Italian, D'Angelo, using the Italian bit. He's not even good at it, Joe.
No, he sucks at it.
I'm an Italian. He doesn't even sound Italian. He's going, hey.
Yeah.
And then they put him over in the match.
Yeah.
To build his character as if that's going to make me take D'Angelo more seriously next time he comes in the ring with all this bullshit. You know what I mean? Like him winning there, that was a horrible booking decision already. Like right out the gun.
Dexter Loomis deserves better.
Loomis goes over. He should go over big as a heel right there. This Italian guy at best is a Brooklyn brawler. Don't even start with that guy. His gimmick's horrendous. Yeah. He's not good at all. He's a jobber.
You should have seen his video packages before he made his appearance actually on the show. So
were the Italian ones?
Oh, yeah. He did the whole like, hey, I'm in Brooklyn. I'm in the streets. And I do an awful Italian because I'm Polish and Irish. Like I'm the farthest from Italian. But it's.
Can I tell you though? Italian is the only nationality that everyone can make fun of, and it's because we don't care. Like it's weird. Like you make fun of if you do any other accent, people get upset. You do an Italian accent, you make them look stupid. You make them look like they're stealing stuff. They're lazy. They don't want to go to work. They're on workman's comp. We all start laughing. We don't take it serious. We're like the only nationality that doesn't get really offended. I'm being dead serious too. But even him, I wasn't offended. I'm just like, you're doing a horrible job of it.
You were offended because of how bad he was making fun of Italians.
If you're gonna make fun of us, like have some sort of Italian in you, like or no one
some
like
ganache.
Exactly, like Enzo. As much as I wasn't a big Enzo fan, even with his "how you doing," that kind of stuff, he had an Italian swagger to him that was authentic. It was
that
there.
Dude coming out on the mic was I hate that they split that up and you're not to get too far into the weeds and off track, but I love that tag team. They sucked because like it was just a little guy who couldn't do shit and Big Cass who had 4 moves. But damn, man, did they move a crowd? But getting back to NXT, like I'm even just looking at pictures, man, and like so the thing I think that Vince is so out of touch with when it comes to NXT is the fact that NXT was a developmental brand. It was in Full Sail University in Florida, and they did this because from what I remember, Full Sail University is like a TV production focused, or there's a big TV production program at Full Sail, and they actually would use some of the college kids to help with the production, to help set things up, get their feet wet. So it was a very small little show. There you go. It was a very small little show, and the dark lighting and the fact that it was just black and gold, they kind of kept the lights a little dim. You couldn't see, like I'm looking at, it's a still, so it's a still of I think it's
the I should have never been built center.
Yeah, it's like you can just see the lights are so bright. You can see like, wow, there's 15 people there. Like you can see how small it is, and it completely kills all ambiance. And
wearing masks, Joe.
Yep. And
Joe, you want to know why that makes it worse?
Because
that totally brings everybody back.
Oh yeah,
I'm not joking.
Yeah,
I would rather not see people than see people lit up with wearing masks, because that immediately brings people back to the being locked down, all that stuff. Like just any kind of image like that. It's supposed to be like happy with bright lights, and then people are all masked up looking like scared. And it was weird, right? Like they looked like everybody looked, no offense, didn't everybody look kind of heavy?
Yeah, I mean,
Go back and look. There's a lot of heavy people there. And I'm not making fun of heavy people again because I'm, a little heavy myself, but they're all heavy, really heavy people. Scan the audience. Also, it's heavy people.
I'm doing it right now. Like I can see, and again, this is throwing stones from my own brick house, but I see gut 1, gut 2, gut 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
I think it was have a gut, get in free. Have a gut, get in free.
I'll tell you where NXT really lost, right? So growing up in high school, now this is a little backstory. Growing up in high school, the first real metal band, I don't count Godsmack because that was the first CD I ever listened to. The first real metal band I ever got into was Slipknot. Okay. Trust me, I know there's a path here. Slipknot, amazing metal band, and I hope you agree. If not, so be it. But Slipknot, one of the
I've always liked Slipknot.
So they really fell off after chapter volume 3. They came out with All Hope Is Gone was all right, and they did chapter fucking 5, whatever that horrible album was that did no justice to Paul Gray. Joey had just left. And all of a sudden, this song, All Out Life, comes out from Slipknot after years of them being away. And it was a banger. Like, listening to that song from Slipknot, I was like, they're fucking back. And then NXT was like, we're going to use that. That is our entrance. And that song to the wrestling and NXT, when that shit came on, man, you wanted to just grip your TV and go, yes, I'm ready to watch some dude just get thrown through fucking tables and people getting their teeth punched in. It just set it up. It was just an aggressive, like, yes, like this is what I want to watch. And even I kind of like, have you seen any of the stuff that they do with Poppy? Really weird kind of like she's super weird, but she does crazy like metal music now. It's weird. But anyway, they had such good music direction because it was heavy, hard hitting, aggressive metal music. Then you go to Wale and some like, and I'm not the biggest fan of newer rap. If you want to talk to me about like late 90s rap, early 2000s, I'm here for it. Not the biggest fan of what's out there now. And then you get the color splashes, and man, it's just the ambiance and the look is so awful.
Wrong audience.
Yeah.
And that no offense, wrong audience. Like no offense, wrong audience. Like if I had to pick people that were more wrestling fans, they also go down south too. You know what I mean? Like it's just they don't want to see that rap stuff. Like aggressive rock has always been the way it's been, just because I mean some guys have rap, which is cool, but themes have always been aggressive rock. And let me just say that I was in a band that did 3 CDs of aggressive rock that was considered like workout music. That's what people used to call it. Like the best song we have, in my opinion, is off the 3rd CD, and I wrote it with the intent of sending it to WWE for Brock Lesnar to use it as his entrance. And then as I started to write it, I started to realize it was actually kind of good, and brought it to Ray. We made a song out of it. It's one of my favorite songs. But the chorus is like, time to bring forth the pain, because it was going to be for Brock. So, I mean, that's the kind of music we wrote. I love that kind of music. Like, you understand? Like, I like that kind of music when it's time to go work out or get something going. I got to go for a thing. Like, I don't want to be relaxed with music sometimes. I want it to amp me up. And for wrestling, I wanted to amp me up, make me want to fight. Like, that's what you want to hear. Like, that's what you're programmed to hear. I don't want to hear what they're giving. Like, what they're wrestling is supposed to be tough. First off, okay? It's tough. And then on top of that, it's like, it was so I don't know if they were going like, all right, so here's my problem. They weren't going little kid colory, right? Because they don't want little kids, they're cursing. So who do you think they're going for, Joe? Like, it's almost like I don't want to say it, you don't want to say it, but we got a weird feeling about this. Are they trying to jump over into like the rap NBA culture?
Because
I mean, what are those colors like? Those colors are like funky. Like people wear those colors. Like, see, I'm wearing a tie dye. This is the best I can get away with. But if I wore a James Harden after a game press conference suit, you'd be like, Mike, take that off, because it wouldn't look right on me. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
What are they trying to do with this? It's almost like one of my point is I'm trying to get you to say, and it's what I think is that they do things so blatantly sometimes that we're afraid to call them on it.
Yeah, they're
Like,
trying
this
to
is supposed to
appeal.
be 2.0. It's like,
Yeah.
out of here with that. I mean, come on, we can see right through that.
Yeah, it's even the white ropes. Like, who puts white ropes in a wrestling ring on a major promotion? It's just awfully done. I mean, Full Sail University, the place that they're in, it just doesn't look good for the setup. And, I mean, you're right. They understand that they've already hooked a certain demographic, and they're trying to open it up to another certain demographic. They're trying to hit a specific niche of like early 20s, late teens kids. You're in Florida. I think it's more in the southern part of Florida. There's certainly a demographic that they're trying to reach that they know, it's also goes along to with why I don't understand why they cut BFAB from Hit Row. Because for one, I actually really liked that group, because I think doing almost like a rap mogul type, like a death row type group in wrestling, that being a faction, you know what I mean? I think that's fantastic, but it needs a female. And for them to cut BFAB, that was such a great faction. You had to reach a demographic that you're clearly trying to reach. So like, what are you really doing? Like, where is your head really at with what you're trying to present as a product? Because I think anybody who even listens to rap, who maybe doesn't like rock, would still listen to All Out Life going into NXT and be like, you know what, man, I don't really fuck with metal, but holy shit, does this make me want to go beat somebody up? You know what I mean? It's just like, sometimes you hear a rap, like you hear a rap song and you hear the beat and you're like, wow, dude, this dude really made a damn good beat, and this guy's verses on it fucking hit this beat really well.
Like, if they came out with DMX to open the show, I'd be like, let's do this. Because DMX is all about, like, jump around, whatever, Spanish smash stuff. But so check me out. It's my thing, though. And no one wants to say this. I think they do a horrible job with the factions of I'll just say black guys. Because that one right there, the what's his face? Kofi and his crew, they all are somewhat similar. They all have a similarity that I wish one group could break, sever. You know what I'm trying to say to you? They all come out the same sort of way, from Crime Time to you name it, man. I'm talking about like all the different groups. They're all similar. Like, it's like they can't get them to play different characters than the characters they are. They all got a little bit of rap or rhythm in them.
They come out dancing.
They all do.
Yeah.
Why are they not showcasing different styles of personalities with, I guess, I hate
groups of color,
black guys. Black guys that are in wrestling, man. They're groups. They should have better. They should have more like diversity in who they are. You know what I mean? They're all the same sort of way to me. And it's like, that's why when that guy Carmelo came out with his guy, I'm like, who are these guys now? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't tell the difference between any of these guys. And I don't mean I can't tell the difference as far as how they look before I get myself in trouble. I mean the characters they're trying to portray. They're all somewhat similar. I think WWE is so racist that they can't think of them any different than the same way they keep thinking they're supposed to be.
You know what faction did break the mold, and they blew it out of the water too quickly? The Hurt Business.
Yep.
The Hurt Business. That was an all person of color group that weren't, there was no like flashy over the top gimmicks outside of like, big chains, whatever. Cause they were like, let's give them kind of an evolution type aura. Like, this is like, that's where they look like they were going. I mean, MVP's not Ric Flair. Shelton Benjamin's not Batista. Cedric Alexander's not Randy Orton, but you don't need them to be that. You just need them to be. Bobby Lashley is good enough for the whole group.
Yeah, there should have been no MVP, because MVP falls into that same category. All right.
But he's like the mouthpiece, though, because he doesn't.
You could have got another mouthpiece that was not rap connected. They don't all rap. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous, dude. I mean, like, come on. It's like the Italian thing we said earlier. It comes out like this. No one says a word about it. They just laugh because he's making fun of an Italian. But meanwhile, they're making fun of other races. We're just not laughing because they're letting it go right in front of our face. Like, come on, give them, you know what I'm trying to say here, dude? Like, give them different personalities, for Christ's sake.
Stop stereotyping your wrestlers. Because again, you do like Trick Williams, because that's the guy who comes out with Carmelo Hayes, is Trick Williams.
All right.
And like, Trick Williams. Come on, like let's. I mean, and maybe that's his name. Maybe that is his nickname. But it's just again, it's very stereotypical of them to do. I do like Odyssey Jones, huge dude, and that's a name that I like. That's not like a typical like some of the stereotypical names that they use. So they are starting. There are some guys that they're starting to break the mold with. And I said it last week. I think we had a conversation similar to this, where they're finally starting to break out of that racist shell, where they're not just handing main roster titles to the big ripped white guys. You know, Bobby Lashley got his run. Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks.
But they're still doing it. They're still doing it
because you can't teach a dog old tricks. You can get them to do certain things, but eventually they fall back into their own routines. It sucks. Basically,
it's new tricks, Joe. Joe, it's new tricks. You can't teach a dog, an old dog, new tricks. You said you can't teach a dog old tricks. That's not true. You can. You can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Hey, I'll say if we've gone like 10 episodes and that's the first time I've really made that much of a saying mistake, I'm doing pretty good because usually I talk out of my ass a lot more than that.
So per average, you're doing pretty good then.
But yeah, man, I firmly believe. I don't want to say it because I don't want to put things out into the YouTube world that aren't true. But Vince McMahon certainly seems like he favors one group of people over another, and it's been like that for a while. Because he's had a lot of talent in a certain racial group that he is just treated poorly for a very long time, who often get the crap end of the stick, who are often put in ridiculous situations. Mark Henry being one. I mean, it's and honestly, even the Nation of Domination was a great faction, horribly racist group, and they were gonna do it again. They were gonna do another similar Nation of Domination group, and someone was like, "You might not want to do that because it's gonna ruffle some feathers, and not in like a good get people talking like a they're gonna burn the buildings down kind of way." So they were like, "All right, we're gonna call them the Hurt Business," and that's where the Hurt Business came from. Because I'm pretty sure that was gonna be the original the new Nation of Domination before someone was like, "We can't do that in 2021." It's sad that it's still very prevalent to me. It's changing, but not fast enough. Kind of just like the rest of the world. Like it's changing, but not fast enough.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, when it comes to that kind of stuff, I guess. But to me, common sense is common sense. Some things should change, some things should not, and it all comes down to common sense. Something like that is common sense. You can't keep doing that. It's just we're getting sick of it. Like I'm sick of it as a viewer. Like I already know what they're going to be like when they come out and they talk about the whole thing. It's like ridiculous. But on that same note, right, Joe, Samoans have extremely hard heads, and you should never headbutt them. Right?
Yeah.
That's what we know from wrestling too. So there are things we've learned from wrestling that are stereotypically racist, but that's how Samoans have hard heads. You know that. Don't headbutt a Samoan.
Get into that really quick. So something I became aware of when I was at basic training of all places. Have you ever seen like Samoans do oh no, I'm not gonna think of the name now. Is it Haku? It's like a war dance.
Well, the Usos used to do it.
It's
Haku did one.
Haka. All right, it's Haka. And it's freaking crazy what these guys do, and it is super intimidating. Obviously, it's a war dance. And
well, they're all supposed to be the toughest people, literally the toughest people. Like Jim Duggan trained with them. Back in the day, the Warrior was a Samoan. You didn't know he was. And him and whatchamacallit, Haku were by far, they used to say, the toughest people that you would ever want to deal with. I mean, the stories about Haku ripping people apart and fighting the 8 cops at the same time, being maced, like the stories about Haku. You ever look up who's the toughest wrestler ever, and everybody says it's Haku. Even Andre the Giant was afraid of Haku.
Yeah.
Haku was nuts. And if he got drunk, they were supposed to be crazy. He's the guy who bit someone's nose off. He's crazy. He guy's crazy. Like crazy. Booker T's brother was telling the story about it. Like he bit the guy's nose off. He had to grab Haku and throw him in a car and drive him back to the hotel. Like Haku is a killing machine. That thumb to the throat he used to do in regular wrestling, that's legit. That's a spike. He used to spike people. Or he did a move where he would grab people under the jaw and put it in your into your mouth, and that would make you pass out. In real life, he used to do that to people when he got angry. It would like, choke them out. But all right.
Some of the stories I'm seeing are pretty good.
About who? Haku?
Yeah. But so basically, I'm trying to get to though is like man, it'd be cool if the Bloodline did that. Like they're doing the whole head of the table. Like, you know, you got the brothers in NXT right now. Like, just have it be one big family and their thing instead of coming out to Roman Reigns' dumb music now. Just they come out and they just do this crazy haka like war dance. Or Siva Tau, I think, is another name that I found for it, the actual name.
That's what's weird. They used to do a war dance, right? Wear the paint. Then they became day one-ish, right?
Yeah, the penitentiary.
And now Roman slightly brought it back towards the Bloodline side of it again with the lay. And it's almost like they should bring back their war dance and face paint.
I want to see them lean into it so hard.
Shouldn't they? Like if they're moving back towards their heritage, why would they not go back to that? Maybe do like a new age version of it. But you don't think that should happen? Like they do that before Roman comes out? Like they do that thing and then boom, it explodes and then his music hit and he comes out?
Yeah, like a quick little kind of war dance and then boom, and then boom and here he comes. I'd love that, to be perfectly honest.
They're gonna have to do that.
It's such a missed opportunity. What I really want to see what they do with the Bloodline going forward after Survivor Series. I said this before we went on air. I was gonna make it kind of my final thought, but since we're talking about it now, I'll just put this out into the universe. I've been right pretty often on this show. Doesn't mean this is right. I have no inside information.
Wait. Stop. We've been right.
All right. Yeah.
We've been right on this show because that's not like I've been wrong.
Fair enough. I think I've got some bigger hits though.
I don't know, man. I'm a pretty good booker.
I'm gonna hang my hat on that Adam Page call out from like 5, 6, 7 weeks ago for a while. That's what my career is gonna ride on for the rest of this time.
It's not a bad one.
But I think, so if all over social media and kind of on the programming, they are pushing so hard the 25th anniversary of The Rock. The Rock's debut 25 years ago. They're doing all of this stuff. Man, The Rock is making an appearance at Survivor Series.
He has to.
And they're going to start the program. It's going to be Roman versus The Rock because there's nobody else on SmackDown right now that can go toe-to-toe with Roman Reigns. They've built Roman Reigns into such a beast that he has no equal on that show right now. There's none.
All right, but he should come back like I said he should come back on Roman's side. He comes back as blood, right? Because that's the only way to get it so that he becomes like he did almost with Nation of Domination. He's by far a bigger star, and he starts to pull like the Usos away from Roman from the inside out. That's how they should do it. They shouldn't come back and fight immediately.
No, like he'll
got to be some sort of like,
he'll come out and maybe like interfere in their match with Big E. Maybe they can actually, because what I really would love to see is Big E actually go over Roman Reigns. Because just build Big E up to be this massive star. But what they could do is have Big E really take it to Roman Reigns. And man, this match is so close, and Roman's given everything, and he just can't pin Big E, and Big E's about to hit a big ending. And then just as he's got him up on his shoulder, you hear, "If you smell," and then his music hits. The people will pop, will go absolutely nuts. The Rock comes down, and even that distraction, because it's what WWE loves to do, Big E drops Roman Reigns, turns around. Roman hits Superman punch, hits a spear. I think he's got to hit both, but whatever. He hits a spear, whatever he hits, gets the 1, 2, 3, and then The Rock comes out, and you're like, oh no. Are they going to fight? What's going to happen? And they just start stomping the shit out of Big E. The Rock hits people's elbow, hits the rock bottom.
Well, let me do you one better. I'm going to do you one better. Here's exactly what should happen, right? If the Rock's music pops and Big E gets distracted, I would love to see Roman Reigns put him in a rock bottom. Because the minute he does that, it immediately ignites the connection. So that you immediately think that they're both in on it. Because if he uses the rock bottom, boom, to pin him, and the Rock comes out, have them stare at each other like they don't know what's going to happen, and then hug. That's going to build, because now you can do The Rock versus Big E. Like there's all these different things you can do until you finally get that final Rock versus Roman. Like Rock being like, what do you mean talking about? Like, I'm much bigger than you. Like, you know what I mean? That's eventually going to happen, but it should start slow. I don't want it to happen too fast. Like, I'm afraid they're just going to hit us with it right out of the gate.
So I think The Rock probably won't wrestle until his big match, either at WrestleMania. Maybe he'll wrestle at the Rumble. I don't think he will be as involved in things as any of us would like him to be. And I think he's very protective of his own body because of how much freaking money he makes in the movie business. So I don't think that I think if he steps in the ring and it's a one-on-one match, it's going to be against Roman Reigns and nobody else. I think that he will be physical. Like, you'll see him hit people with the rock bottom. He might take some bumps, but it's going to be very, very minor and mitigated.
I'd have him do too much. I'd look for at least 2 matches. I'd have him do one before and make it a squash match, right? Or make it something happen, and then have him and Roman. Roman could like interfere before him and the Big E match even gets going at that pay-per-view, or cause an interference that causes Rock the match because the ref thinks that Roman's on his side.
It would be nice to
keep him safe and get him out there.
It would be nice to see, or actually, what else you could do too? It would be nice to see The Rock challenge Big E for the WWE Championship. The Rock wins WWE Championship, but on the same night, Roman loses the Universal Championship. And so now that Rock and Roman match becomes a match for the WWE Championship. And you've got Roman, who just lost his title. The Rock just picked up the title. The Rock can sit there and go, I told you I was better than you. Who's got gold and who doesn't? And then it becomes Roman's got this chip on his shoulder where he's like, nah. Something like that. And that's probably a little too ridiculous. I don't think they'll give Rock the title. But like you said, to your credit, like, there's so many different options they could go by aligning him with the bloodline and not just having to come out and be like, no, I'm the head of the table. Like, no, let Rock be buddy. And then as it goes on, him be like, you know what, man? You kind of suck.
That's his family. He had Roman in a movie. He shouldn't come out and be like, I'm mad at you because I'm The Rock and I know you're being a bad guy. He should come out like it's his family. So like if they blow that, they're blowing months worth of booking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But they don't like to book long term, so.
Okay, but they gotta. Hey, before we continue with the Raw, which we've stopped, did you see the whole Becky Lynch thing about how she's pretty much starting to slowly argue with like Ric Flair about the man trademark?
Yeah.
Can I be completely honest? As great as Becky
never
Lynch
not be honest?
That's true. That is really true. As great as Becky Lynch is, okay. If Ric Flair doesn't want you at any point not use the man, you should not use the man.
Yeah,
because that's the greatest wrestler probably of all time. The styling, profiling, the jet. Are you kidding me, Becky Lynch? Please. I don't care how good you do for the rest of your career. Your career will not be as good as Ric Flair's. That's a sad thing to have to realize to somebody nowadays. You can go up to pretty much almost any wrestler on the roster and go, hey, you know what? As great as your career is going to be, it's probably not going to be as great as Ric Flair's. Because so far, no one's had a career like Ric Flair. No one. Ric Flair has been doing it for so long at such a high level. He's the man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's like you don't, when you compare yourself to the greatest, like it's like the greatest of all time. If some boxer started calling himself like the greatest of all time, are you kidding me? Like did Muhammad, you remember Muhammad Ali? Like, what are you talking about? Like, they just started using one of their nicknames, and it's just, even when Ronda Rousey came out as Rowdy Ronda Rousey, I ain't gonna lie, there's a part of me that went, nope, that ain't right. No. There's no Piper in you. That rowdy sign was for a reason. He wasn't rowdy in a rowdy your kind of way. He was a rowdy in a he doesn't give anybody says type of way. You're missing the point, Rhonda. That's not how he was rowdy. He was just going to pick a fight or start a fight or cause people to fight each other. He wasn't like out to prove he was the the strongest man in the world. That was not his gig at all. He'd rather beat you with his brains and let you know that he did it like that. So it was like, you can't. It's like the Rockers version 2.0, whatever it was. It's like the new Rockers. You can't redo shit. It doesn't work right. So listen, I know the man things worked great for Becky Lynch. She deserves it. But if Ric Flair has a problem with you using it, stop. I think that's fair to say. Stop. Right?
Yeah. I think it's a lot of kayfabe though, because I've kind of been following this because I know that they actually had a real her and Charlotte had like a real actual shouting match and kind of like mini fight when they did the belt swap. And now that they're going to be wrestling at Survivor Series, I've kind of been following their little back and forth that they've been having through interviews. And I don't know if you saw this on SmackDown, but Charlotte was actually the most over she's ever been on the mic. She was doing this thing where she'd be like, she said something like, oh, I just got beat by Charlotte. And I just did this. And the crowd was eating it up, dude. Like, it was actually really cool to see someone who's universally hated on the mic really get a crowd to get behind him by something that I'm pretty sure she came up with. So a lot of this back and forth that her and Becky are having, I think, is actually, I think it's a work.
I think it's grounded in truth.
It's grounded in truth. Don't get me wrong, but I still think a lot of it's a work. I like the bantering on social networking and the interviews on the shows. I think it's more of a work grounded in truth. There's obviously some hatred there, but I think that it's one of those things where they're like, listen, like, we don't like each other, but we can definitely make this a huge story and we can make a lot of money and we can get a lot of crowd favor and fame out of this. So I think they're both kind of leaning into it. For me, it kind of kills a little bit with how blatantly it is a work. But I think the thing with Ric Flair, it's also a work. Because Becky has issues with Charlotte, I think Rick is just giving Becky a hard time on behalf of Charlotte.
All right, but I'm still going to firmly say that when it comes to being called the man, that's Ric Flair. That's just we got to stop this with nicknames. Like,
well, what about taking the rock bottom and just calling it the manhandle slam? Like, how dare you? How dare you?
Well, at least he renamed it. He gave it some spice. My least favorite was what was the worst rename of all time? I'm totally forgetting now. It was a different sport. Oh, here it is. My least favorite of all time, Laurence Taylor, right? Greatest linebacker of all time, greatest New York Giant of all time, my favorite team of all time. That's him in the poster that way behind me. And I got to tell him it right there. From my favorite player. That's my favorite player in any sport of all time. Right? Laurence Taylor. They called him LT. That's what they called him. LaDainian Tomlinson comes out. They start calling him LT. I had such a hard time with that. I'm like, you can't call him LT because there is an LT. Just like you can call a guy right now Dr. J because there already was one. I couldn't understand. You can't take someone else's nickname and then roll with it.
You couldn't have another NBA star come in out of nowhere with a lot of talent and just call him the king. You know, it's just, there will only be one king, King James. Like, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know what I mean? Like it's the truth. It's just like you can't steal nicknames. All right. So on the next match, Joe, we had Bianca Belair fight Tamina Nevamina just so they could get her and fucking Doudrop.
Yeah.
Can you tell I don't even like mentioning the character? It sucks so bad.
The new gimmick change thing too is just so weird with this pink shirt and the pink the choker, man. It's weird. It's weird. I don't like it either.
What did you think of that match and the whole setup?
I mean, I don't like Tamina that much as an in-ring performer. Yeah, I think she's very stiff. It was all right. I mean, it wasn't great. But Bianca looked like a badass, like she always does. So that was at least a good point.
Bianca is going to hit a point where her hair is a prop. And if that becomes the case, Joe, I told you what happens once you have a prop. I'm being serious with this now. With her and her hair, I noticed that it keeps more and more. It's a prop every match. She puts it into matches. They do things with the hair. That's not gonna last. That doesn't last. Like that's people eventually gonna be the point where they're sick of it. I mean, serious.
Yeah.
Like, you want to see a girl use her hair as a weapon?
No, it's kind of lost its novelty at this point.
It's doesn't make sense because it's
They're gonna start selling like keychains that are her like her braid or whatever.
Maybe
You
they're
have a
gonna
little
sell
braid
like
in your pocket.
clip-ons. Maybe they'll sell clip-ons for
Yeah.
little girls, but they're not going PG anymore. So what are you talking? What are we talking about here with this?
TV 14.
And then Dewdrop, like, come on, woman, get a hold of your career, and get them to change your name, or just go out there and cut a promo no one wants to hear that gets you fired, where you say how bad it is that you got to call yourself Dewdrop.
Yeah,
I mean,
pull a Dusty Rhodes.
I don't know what to do with that. Oh, you mean the
7?
Do you ever see no Dustin Rhodes? Did you ever see the Dusty? You ever see the Dusty Rhodes one that got him in the most trouble, where he put his hand in Stephanie McMahon's face?
Yeah.
He palmed her face to shut up.
He did one of
that, and that was not supposed to be in the promo, and she did not like that. I heard her talk about it. I saw her whack his hand. You could see Triple H was not happy. Like, it was awesome. That was an awesome moment. You gotta love the Rhodes brothers.
I saw that recently in a video of like top 10 times wrestlers were clearly frustrated in the ring or something like that, and that was one of them. And I was, oh shit. Those Rhodes brothers, man, it's cool seeing anything with Cody Rhodes in it, not knowing, like, you know, WWE doesn't realize that what they're doing to him is just like going to be their biggest downfall. Like, them making him into Stardust or Starshine, whatever the frig he was, like, ruined WWE as a company. Like, it's funny.
Did you see that he jumped off Twitter?
Yeah, he deleted his Twitter account, and it was like a news thing. Like, is that where we're at these days?
You know what? Twitter,
he said he was going to do it.
I can't even deal with Twitter, man. I'll tell you what, like, that's angry people who want to argue. Like, imagine waking up and being like, you know what? I got to get my aggression out on how much I hate myself by arguing with other people and regurgitating the same lines of information every time I get into a certain subject. Like, I can picture people, right, with Cheeto stains on their shirts, and they got note cards for every topic, so they can just go right to these certain lines. Like, imagine that's your life. Like confrontation while you sit down and get heavy and just type away. That's the confrontation. The rest, I don't like it, Joe. I'm not a big fan of it. Like, because I don't like it. I hate it. Anyways, so kudos to him. Let's try to get through this Raw really fast. After that, we had Alpha Academy versus the Street Profits. I don't mind me some tag teaming. I don't mind me at all. And you know what? If the Street Profits can tone down their thing a little bit, like they kind of did last night, or Monday night, I'll be in for this. And I like the Alpha Academy.
All right, great tag team match.
But then tell me why Nikki Ash. It was Nikki Ash versus Queen Zelina / Rhea Ripley versus Carmella. Like, what?
It's WWE having a women's tag team division and not having enough women's tag teams. All the good ones that they had, they blew up.
Is that what it was about, though, you think? Putting together tag teams?
Well, you have Nikki Ash and Rhea, who are still the women's tag team champions, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yeah.
And they haven't done anything in weeks. Zelina needs to stay relevant.
So Zelina Carmella?
Yeah, that's like the new tag team, the Queen and the Queen. The Queen of the Ring and the Queen of Staten Island. I don't know. It's just there. The matches were not. Rhea's match was better. Nikki Ash and Zelina was a tough sell for me. I don't like Queen Zelina. When she is forced to speak like this, she's not very good. And I've seen her do work outside of the WWE, and she's fantastic. Not with scripted promos, though.
Dude, what is Rhea Ripley doing with the rest of these Jamotes? What is she doing with these people? Get her out of this. Please don't ruin Rhea Ripley like this. Don't put her in a group of people that we could care less about. Like, don't put her in a segment where I'm hoping for the commercial more than I am for the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, come on. And the thing is, this always makes me come off as like sexist, right? But I'll be honest, they just keep showing horrible female wrestling on WWE. I'm
Yeah,
not
they can't
saying
figure it out.
WWE that is just horrible female wrestling. I'm saying they've been showing it on WWE. They keep showing us stuff we don't want to see. We've already saw. We never want to see. You know what I mean?
They can't figure out their women's division, which is mystifying to me because their women's division is fantastic. But on the flip side, if you go over to SmackDown, the women's division on SmackDown is actually looking really cool. I don't want to get too far off topic because, we got to wrap it up. However, I just want to say that Shotzi's heel turn and now her match with Sasha Banks on Friday, that's going to be a really good match. I highly recommend anyone with some time to check it out or go back and rewatch it after it happens. I think Shotzi's in for a big push, and I think Sasha's the right person to have her kind of get her first real feud in.
Okay, but here's what I'm want to know what I'm afraid of. You seem happy about this, and I see Shotzi is becoming just fodder for Sasha Banks to run over.
No,
just
I
have
think.
another. Oh yeah, how many bad guys are there for females? Name them. No, they all want to be heel. I mean, faces. They all kind of want to be faces. Sasha wants to be you want them to be faces. How many heels? You got Dewdrop. Who else? Zelina Vega, Carmella. Who else?
Charlotte.
She's different. She transcends that whole thing. So who do you have for the faces to go over? Shotzi.
See,
your girl might be a punching bag.
I think that Shotzi is getting pushed. I think she's gonna go over Sasha, and I think that her heel turn is just the tipping of that iceberg.
All right, I think it's the opposite. I think they're throwing this poor girl like to get fed for Sasha Banks to come over looking strong. Because when's the last time Sasha Banks came off looking strong? Fact,
Sorry, I just got a message from Buddy. I was trying to check it out because I know he's been incapacitated. So
yeah. I've been trying to stay in touch with that kid. We did a show. We had to do the show Sunday without him.
Yeah, I saw that.
Last year, though, we had the same sort of thing around this time. Yeah, when the show started off, he had some sort of thing, and then they put a picture of his whatever it was up on the screen with us. Somebody drew a picture of his organ.
Yeah, he had pancreatitis. Yeah, it's not the first time, but he's got to. I think he'll admit it too. He's got to maybe change up his eating habits. But I guess one doctor told him he couldn't drink beer anymore, and Buddy laughed in his face and told him that he was politely not gonna not drink beer. So 4 out of 5 doctors say drinking beer is fine, and we'll go with those 4.
You know what's funny though is I'll be honest, right? So what he's got to do what everybody else has to do. As you get older, if you don't watch what you eat, watch what you drink, watch what you do, it goes out of control. You can't control age. You know what I mean? That's the part I'm wondering if he's getting. That as he gets older, you got to be more on top of stuff if you want to even look like because some people there's some people I know that's my age that they look like they're 70. I swear to Christ. I was like, why did you get that look like that? Like, what happened? So you got to fight it. And you know what? Like, if someone told me to stop drinking beer, and that was like my favorite thing to do. Let's say, I don't really have a favorite thing to do. But let's say someone told me I can't do this anymore, drink this anymore, do that anymore. If it was a real serious reason, I would stop doing that. That's a fact. I would give whatever up if I had to, because I'm not one of those people that wants to go out early and be like, but I stuck to my guns because I like life. Life is probably more fun than anything else, right? There's not life, and then there's life. Now, Joe, there was not life for so many thousands of years before you were born, right? Then there's your life. It's pretty short, no offense. Then there's going to be thousands of years after you die, Joe. Okay? So for the majority of time, you're dead or don't live. Just like me. We're only here for like, it goes by. There it is. That was us. That was us. We're just a speck, Joe. We just get like a Polaroid picture of time. It's not a whole movie. Your life is just a Polaroid. So you got to do whatever it is you got to do to stay in this game. You got to do whatever you got to do. It's the Rob Van Dam idea. Stretch out an hour earlier than everybody else. Get yourself completely ready, because as the older you get, I'm telling you, brother, I have to go crazy to keep myself. Even just like in the morning, everything cracks, breaks. I'm fighting through stuff all the time. Like if I work out, there's the workout, there's the cool down, there's another stretch out. There's shit I got to do that, like when I was like in my 20s, 30s, whatever, I didn't have to do any of that. I could go play 2 basketball games in a row, work out, go do a show. I was fine. Joe, it all falls to shit.
I'll tell you what, I wish I was high for this conversation.
So we got to pass this on to Buddy and let Buddy know. Ease up. Age will get all of us. Do you have anything to say before we wrap up, Joe?
Nope. I think I said it. The Rock's making his return on Survivor Series. You heard it here first. Hopefully, maybe.
All right. Let me
Yeah,
ask this. Last words. NXT 2.0 the ratings were so bad last night for the USA Network that my prediction is within a year from me saying this right now, it will no longer be on the USA Network. There's no chance in freaking hell. That show was so cringy and awful and just a joke, and everything was forced. And the guys, like, I'm not interested in them anymore. The way that even they shot the camera shot of Johnny Gargano and Pete Dunne made them look small. Even the camera shot, I'm like, dude, you don't come down on 2 little guys. You pan up, you make them look big. You get below them, get a wide shot of them. Don't come from the top down. They look this big, dude.
Yeah. They're because Vince took it over. He's trying to make it too much like the main roster show now. It's sad, but you're right. I mean, NXT is gonna be it's gonna be an afterthought. Hopefully they just let it sit on the Peacock streaming platform and they bring it back to its roots. But we'll see.
It's got to do it, please. Like I'd rather it be just strictly a Peacock original.
Yeah.
Like don't. And look, before we go, remember when Shane was trying to push that underground wrestling thing?
Yeah.
Was that the worst thing ever?
Yeah.
What was that supposed to be? What were we supposed to think they were doing?
Yeah.
What were we supposed to think was different about that place?
It was real fighting. They were really fighting.
That's my point. Real fighters would never go to a place that looks like it came out of Dungeons and Dragons and then throw down like that, all sweaty. There was so many things wrong with that part of stuff that show that they don't get it, right? So that's probably why he left. I bet you he tried to pitch that blew up, and then they took NXT away from Triple H, and Vince is gonna make the world, because he could care less. And if you remember what he did to Sunday Night Heat, and it was Tuesday like
Taboo Tuesday,
like Don't Tune In, whatever it was called, Wild Wednesdays, just dumb names for every night. They stunk. They got to the point where they were so watered down, they stunk. When Test is like the headlining match, it's like, oh, Christ. What do I get? What am I watching? So that's my thoughts on NXT. I don't think it'll be here next year. So, Joe, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up. It's 8:15. It is November 17th, 2021. For Joey Paranormal, it's me, Mike Lepre, King Michael. This was the World of Legit Fantasy Wrestling, brought to you by legitpodcast.com. We will see you again next Wednesday, tomorrow. 7 o'clock, we have Legit Fantasy Football. 8 o'clock after that is Legit Fantasy Basketball. Right, Kobe? Kobe agrees. We will see you tomorrow.